Welcome back to our Eyes Africa with me, Aaron Akirijola. And to the rest of the stories, today, 27th of January 2020, marks the 18th anniversary of the Ikeja cantonment blast that killed hundreds of people and destroyed property worth millions of naira in Nigeria's commercial capital, Lagos. It was a day in 2002 that brought back memories of the Nigerian Civil War for those old enough to relate to the tragic path of history in the nation's life. The official explanation for the tragic incident was the accidental exposure to the elements of wartime ordnance, which had long been buried for safety purposes. The federal and Lagos state government had at time made promises about rehabilitation of the survivors, but the real interest in the story is the sheer intensity of the panic that gripped Lagos as the tragedy unfolded. The next report tries to capture it the way it happened.
Need for emergency food relief. There will be need for relief to immediately repair accommodation and that sort of thing. Now that is the second immediate thing, so that life as quickly as possible can return to normal.
A dark Sunday afternoon in the city of Lagos. It was 18 years ago when multiple explosions rocked the Ikeja military cantonment armory of the Nigerian army. Of course, Ikeja is the heart of the city, and the impact of the explosions of such magnitude was felt miles away in other parts of the state. The explosion and resulting fire caused a huge panic across the city. The blast, which leveled several buildings within the barracks, killed about 300 people, mostly soldiers and their family members, apart from damage done to other property within the Ikeja area. It occurred in the afternoon, and as the day gave way to night with the explosions unrelenting, the confusion in other parts of the state grew, and crowds of people, especially residents close to the Ikeja area where the tragedy was unfolding, began to run in different directions for safety. They had no idea of what exactly was happening and had to run for their lives. Families were separated. The instinct was just to run further from the deafening explosion. A hurriedly put together state broadcast by the then Governor Bola Tinubu and some security chiefs did little or nothing to stop the crowd of panicked residents who had no time to watch TV or listen to the radio at the time. Majority of those escaping ran towards the large canal at Okafa area in Isolo. And since they were not familiar with the terrain and coupled with the fact that it was already dark, they got drowned in the process. An estimated 600 of them died. The death toll from the multiple explosions significantly rose in one of the worst disasters to ever happen in Lagos. There were also stampedes in other parts of the city that also killed hundreds of people. Not less than 5,000 people were estimated to have sustained different degrees of injury, some of them life-threatening, as the explosion went on overnight owing to lack of adequate firefighting facilities. When the flames were eventually put out the following day, about 12,000 people had been rendered homeless. A majority of those that are lucky to be alive still carried a deep scar of the explosions around with them.
What have I done? Why should I deserve this? What is the problem? You that have planned your life for, devil, did this.
I'll now be crossing over to Okafa in Isolo, local government, where we will be speaking to one of the survivors of the Ikeja bomb blast. All right. Ife, we want to say thank you for joining us today, and we apologize for actually trying to bring back some of these very, very dark memories. But relate to us, how was the day like, and till now, have you been able to get over the shock of what happened back?
I haven't been able to get over it because I can still feel and see how everything went about that day. Looking at it closely, talk to us. Do you think the government has done enough to probably alleviate and also rehabilitate those that were involved and survivors like you? What has been done between then and now?
Well, nothing has been done. The government promised to compensate the victims of the 2002 Ikeja Cantonment Bomb Blast incident, but we haven't been compensated since then. I lost my kid brother during that incident, and I was the only survivor, the only baby that survived in the canal. And since then, we haven't heard from the government.
All right, so now since you're speaking about the canal, what's the state of the canal as we speak right now? Have there been barricades? Have there been safety measures taken to ensure that just if we find ourselves in that precipice again, we will not have such an ugly incident?
Well, as at 2014, the houses beside the canal was demolished, and my house was beside the canal then. And we felt when they demolished the house, they were going to look for somewhere for us to stay, or at least compensate us after the bomb blast. And they chased everyone out of the area. There was a fence around the canal. Currently, we still stay close to the canal because we don't have anywhere to go to. So I don't know what to say. I just want the government to just help us. Because even if they chase us out of this place, we can't find any other place to stay except they want us to go to the village. There are so many people that are living out here. And I still stay close to the canal currently.
All right, before we let you go, we want to just, if you had an opportunity to speak to the government, because we know they are listening, what will be your yearnings and what will be your cries to the government as we speak directly?
Well, if the government can hear our plea, they should please try to reach out to us, help us. So many of us are not in school yet. I'm in school now, but it has not been hard. It has not been easy for I and my family. Like, my dad rides bike since then till now, and my mom has a petty shop, and trust me, it's been very, very hard. So please, the government, just help us, and I don't know what to say. Please just help us. Not only my family, other families out there, because we are much.
I want to say thank you, Ife, for joining us today and sharing your story once again with us. Talking about IFEOMA NDIONYEMMA, one of the survivors of the Ikeja Bomb Blast.